All right, beautiful. So, I get my mic with my dead cat on it. Let's explain the situation that's going on over here, okay? All week I've been trying to come up with a new content idea to upload to YouTube, and I got a lot of stuff, honestly, and I have a lot of things written down, a lot of cool projects that I want to work on. However, the problem is they require an immense amount of work, and a lot of that is kind of difficult to do right now, partly because of what's going on in the world, but the situation is getting better, which means I'm in the planning phases for a lot of these videos. But what does that mean? That means I still have to upload something this week, because I would kill myself if I don't upload, every week. So I came up with a concept that literally came to me in a dream. It sounds really stupid and cliche, but it did. It's called Getting Up Raw, right? So Getting Up Raw is obviously very suggestive, but the main point of it is I record a segment or a video, right, somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes, and literally upload it raw. No editing, no color correcting, nothing. Just up and at 'em. And it's a little difficult, and it's a cool thing too, because it helps me work on my my public speaking skills and my overall communication, right? So we're going to see how this goes. It could go really bad, in which case I'm very sorry, or it can go really well, in which case, awesome, I have to keep it chill with the vulgarity and the profanity, because apparently YouTube pays real close attention to those sorts of words when it comes to their algorithms, and they tend to punish those that are a bit more vulgar, those that don't really have a name established for themselves yet, like yours truly. So, on today's episode of Getting Up Raw, or Going Up Raw, what do they say? Getting Up Raw, right? This is the first episode. So, we're talking about Joe Rogan and Spotify, which is arguably the biggest news this week for the internet and the online world, okay? Obviously, Corona and COVID is still is still the biggest news going on around the world. But, we want to focus on something a little different just to occupy our brains with new information. And this week, it just so happens to be Joe Rogan and Spotify. So that's a humongous deal for those that don't understand, because Spotify's net value went up $5 billion, which kind of goes to say that Joe Rogan perhaps is worth $5 billion, right? Essentially. I mean, they acquired him, and that was like absolutely insane, because up until now, Spotify has been, ubiquitous with music, right? They're actually credited for kind of moving the entire pirating scene from, Kazaa, BearShare, I don't even remember most of them, Winamax, like all these, or even the Pirate Bay, right? All these torrent sites for music, they kind of took business away from all those people. And I use the term business loosely, obviously, right? Because they were, I guess, not illegal establishments, but the business that they were conducting was, borderline illegal. But Spotify is credited for taking that all away from those people and bringing a different a different business model for record labels, for artists, for bands, for podcasters, right? So to acquire someone as big as Joe Rogan, who is probably, and I don't know, I didn't do the research for this, but I'm pretty sure he is the biggest podcaster in the world, right? I mean, that his YouTube channel has over 8 million subscribers, right? He streams over 190 million views or something a year. That's pretty insane, all right? And for Spotify to acquire something like that, what does it tell artists, right? Or bands their value on the platform, right? They're essentially saying that a podcaster is worth more than any other artist on Spotify, which is interesting because when you think about it, they're kind of moving in this tier that's very different, right? They started off with music, and that was their big thing, obviously. But then last year, they required all these other podcasting companies or platforms like Anchor FM. What were the other ones? There were a couple ones I didn't hear. Gimlet, right? And Parcast. So that kind of goes to show you what direction they're moving in terms of their business models, right? They're starting to focus more on podcasts as opposed to music, which is something that they have to really expand into, because that is kind of going to really set them apart from the rest of the players in their industry or in their market, right? You have Apple Music, you have it's funny because I really don't know much. I just know Apple and Spotify, but there are others out there, and it's gonna set them apart from everything else, especially with the acquisition of Joe Rogan, because that's absolutely insane. How many times have I said the word insane so far? Probably thrice at least. I gotta focus on that, right? So I got my outline here. I want to make sure that I hit every point possible before moving forward. So you have Mark Mulligan, right? Who's a music research analyst. And he said so himself that Spotify values Joe Rogan more than anybody, right? To have paid him $100 million. By the way, did I mention that? Joe Rogan's getting paid $100 million for this contract to be exclusively on Spotify. And to be clear, yes, his full episodes and his video content is going to be on Spotify, but clips and snippets will still be available on YouTube, which I'm assuming they're going to, go through some crazy marketing scheme to kind of get people to entice them to sign up for Spotify and listen to the full episode, right? So there's going to be that whole pipeline going between YouTube and Spotify. So that relationship isn't completely severed for Joe Rogan and YouTube, but it is obviously severely different. And this is quite a different path. YouTube's going to have to go on quite a different path moving forward to kind of play catch up, because that's literally, they lost a big member of their community there. And who knows what Spotify's plans are next? There are rumors that they're in talks with the Obama family production company. I don't know what it's called, the Obama's production house or something like that. But they're in talks with them, and what's to come of that? Either like a docu-series or a podcast, who knows? But this is the direction that they're going in, and the Joe Rogan's video will also be offered on Spotify's platform. So is Spotify, are they aiming to be the next OVP, which is online video provider, right? Are they wanting to go into that realm? Are they trying to really, really compete with YouTube that hard? And who knows? But this is a really big move, obviously, and it's nice to occupy our minds with something else, with some new information, aside from what's going on in the world. Obviously, there's a lot of tragedy. Things are getting a little better, but we're taking the phases of reopening slowly, carefully, but with diligence as well. So let's just we'll try to focus our energy. If you're fortunate enough to have your health and to have those around you healthy, we'll focus our energy on new incoming news like this, things that are kind of exciting, things that are shaking up the internet world. So I'm curious to see what you guys think of this move. Is this something that you're willing to, this is for those who are actually, listeners of Joe Rogan, is this something that you're actually willing to do to move platforms, sign up for Spotify? You have some users that are, avid Apple users. So does this incentivize you to actually sign up for Spotify's platform? That's a good question. How many of you are willing to do that? How many of you already have Spotify and this is like, okay, it's not a big deal, But we are creatures of habit, So we've been listening to Joe Rogan on YouTube for so many years, so now this is just a change of dynamics. Is that something that's annoying to you? Let's go ahead and start some discourse, right? It's not really a debate, because it is what it is. I mean, the man made so much money. Excuse me, this is nasty, but I have like crazy allergies, so it's like it's getting all in my throat and my nose and my sinuses and my eyes. So that's all about being raw. That you get the true me, no editing, all the nasty throat sounds that are probably going to come through this microphone because of my allergies. It is what it is. But let me know what you guys think. Joe Rogan moving to Spotify, making $100 million. Spotify going up to $5 billion, essentially making Joe Rogan worth $5 billion in a way, right? What do you guys think? What do you think Spotify's next moves are? Do you think they have their eyes on OVP-ness, right? Do they want to compete with YouTube? Have you guys used the new video sector or section of Spotify? I was told that there is one. I haven't seen it. I haven't used it. I'm a Spotify user myself, but I haven't really seen it. So I don't know. I don't know what it's like. I'm curious to see if you guys have used it. If you're, what are your experiences in terms of the, overall user experience? Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Going Up Raw, and I guess this episode is Going Up Raw with Joe Rogan. That's the title. Going Up Raw with Joe Rogan. It's a little suggestive, but you know what? It's okay.